call this December 14th City Commission meeting to order at 6:30. Call the meeting, have the invocation by Pastor Terry Hall, then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Pastor.
Would you join me in prayer? Father, we thank you for this season in which we are dwelling. For in this season we learn the lesson that in the purity and the innocence of new life is found true joy, true peace, true hope, and true contentment. We ask, O Heavenly Father, that you would cause that kind of innocence, that kind of purity to fill our hearts and to motivate our decisions and our choices. We ask, O Heavenly Father, that in this season, when there is loss, that you would remember us and give us comfort. And may the High Springs City family be comforted in the loss of one of their own just this last week. We ask, O Heavenly Father, that you would minister to us throughout this holiday season, and that the glory of the only begotten of the Father be manifest in our hearts and lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Jenny.
Mayor Jameson?
Here.
Vice Mayor Jones? Absent. Commissioner Williams?
Here.
Here.
At this point in time, approval of the agenda. I know we have an item 6 in addition to it, so do I have a motion to approve the agenda with the additional item 6 added on?
Motion so made.
I have a second.
Linda.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
I've got a first and a second to approve the agenda with the addition of item number 6 on it. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Hearing none, is approved. Approval of the minutes, November 16th and 28th. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the November 16th and the November 28th, 2017 meetings.
Do I have a second? I have a first and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it passes 3-0. I don't see the group who's supposed to do the presentation. So at this point in time, I will open up the meeting for citizens' requests.
Before we move along,
yes,
did we hear
ma'am.
from them at all? From the group?
They in fact, they sent me the presentation to make sure that the city had it. So it was my understanding that they were coming.
It is a vote, and we certainly support that because I believe that they should be voted by district because they're large enough rather than at large, but it's really up to the people to vote on it.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. I was just wondering, had anybody heard from them? Since I thought Shirley would be here this time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. After last time, right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Once again, citizens' comments. These are issues that are not on the agenda, and please give your name for the record and limit comments to 5 minutes. See none? Oh, we have one. Yes, ma'am. Your
As
name.
president of the Chamber of Commerce, Yvonne Andrews, president of the Chamber of Commerce, if you let me finish, Mayor. I would just like to say thank you on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce. The Christmas parade, I got outstanding comments for this year's Christmas parade, and I just want to thank especially the police department, the city, for all of the outstanding work that you all did in helping us get this done. Reviews that was given to me has been outstanding, and I just want to say thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you all again next year. Of course, Gloria and I did a lot of work, and with the help of you all, it turned out great. And like I said, minor complaints, but we will work those out next year. And
Right.
with you all helping us, I'm quite sure next year will be just as great or grander. And again, I say thank you very much for all of your help, and I look forward to working with you again next year. Thank you.
Thank you for your
you.
work.
I will no longer hold a donkey and a horse. I am no longer the wrangler. That's right. Yeah, we needed a scooper too.
We're going to take care of that.
That's right.
Thank you, Yvonne. It was great. For me personally, to be honest with you, I thought the highlight was just watching you get up and sitting on top of the car for the ride.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was,
Yeah.
there you go. But it was a great job. We thank you. I've heard a lot of good things, too. Thank you very much. Anyone? New business? Consider Resolution 2017-W.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This is Resolution 2017-W, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of High Springs adopting a procurement protest procedure which governs disputes relating to the city's purchases and providing an effective date. So attached to this resolution is the procurement protest procedure.
Right.
We did notice, thanks to the mayor today, a discrepancy, so I would ask if you would look on the first page. In subsection 4, it says that notice would go to the finance director, and just to be consistent, we would change that to city manager. And so we discovered earlier this year that we do not, in fact, have a procurement protest procedure here in High Springs. It's not required that you have one, but state law has a procedure for state agencies that allows local governments to come up with their own. So we just think that it's in the best interest of the city, given how important procurement is, that we actually have a process that allows you to move forward as quickly as possible with your purchasing decisions, but still allows potentially aggrieved parties the opportunity to come before your manager and then the commission.
We have a lot of grants. We'll be going out for bids a lot. Hopefully there won't be any appeals, but you never know.
So this process, just real simple now. And this process does what?
Okay, so if you have a bidding dispute, the aggrieved party, usually an applicant who was not selected in a bid, would go to your city manager. And we only allow a set amount of time for them to come to your city manager. Your city manager essentially has a hearing where the applicant can come forward. Any other parties can come. They can give evidence to the city manager. Your city manager makes a determination. If it's under the threshold amount in our purchasing policy, then the city manager's decision is final. If it's a decision that would have otherwise come to the commission, if the aggrieved party is dissatisfied with the manager's opinion, they can bring it to you as a commission. Your decision is final, and the city can move forward. It doesn't preclude an aggrieved party from then suing you over the issue, but it at least allows us the opportunity to move forward, and it would require the applicant to go through that process before they could file suit against the city.
So this would be with contracts or purchasing items?
Right, purchase. So basically anything that we could put out per bid.
Okay.
So an RFQ, an RFP,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay. Any questions?
So basically, they have 2 days post the time that the award is given to put it in written notice to the city manager that they're protesting.
Correct.
Okay, 2 business.
So we just don't want it to linger because, as you know,
Right.
when these bids come before you, you give staff direction, then we go out and get the contracts. And
Right.
so we don't want to have to wait
Right.
too long to slow down these projects that the city has going on.
You said something about a threshold amount that the city manager could do versus bringing it to the commission. What is that amount? Is that an established amount?
5,000.
Okay, so anything under 5,000 just goes directly to you.
Right.
And then over 5,000 would be something that would come to us. Okay.
seldom will there be a bid under 5,000.
And seldom will we probably have bid protests. We haven't had
Right.
any. We've had someone who's threatened before that they were going to file something, but they haven't. But it's happened recently in other local cities, and so we thought best to get out ahead of it and make sure that there's a procedure in place so everybody knows what that is.
So does this get, when someone gets a bid package, this would be a part of the bid package, this resolution that we're coming forth with today, so they would know that this is the process? Or?
Yes, or at least a reference to it, and
To this.
say, go to the city's website. There would be something so that they would know. So if part of any bids moving forward, everybody would be put on notice.
Okay.
Any other questions? You just pretty much just put something in place to where you're not waiting for a month or
Right,
so
right.
after the deal. It just expedites the process. So if there is a dispute, you're not waiting around trying to figure it out.
Well, and it shuts it down after 2 business days
Right.
so that you don't have a bunch of extended
Something lingering.
people
Correct.
out there saying, I'm going to do this.
That
So
saves you from wasting a lot of time, so we can be moving forward.
any action on this resolution, anybody?
I will make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2017W, I think it is, which is the procurement protest procedure.
And I second.
So I've got a first and a second for Resolution 2017. Any comments from the public before we vote? Just gives us a process, if somebody has it, to expedite the process if there's a dispute, which we don't have right now. Thank you all. I've got a first and a second. All in favor for, that's right, thank you. Roll call, please. That was very good, though. Let me just say, that was well done.
Mayor James,
Well, after that, yes.
Commissioner Dean,
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes 4-0. Courtney, at this point in time, what do we need to do if we wanted to pause? And I see it looks like the group is here. Do we just insert them in
Yep,
now?
we can just take them up. Yep.
I would bring Scott up here. He can share like 2 lawyers between you.
Just gonna keep my head under fire.
Mr. Marlowe, if you want to approach, please.
have to roll back and do what I did over.
No, you're not coming up.
No.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commission. My name is Jordan Marlowe. I'm a teacher at Newberry High School. I apologize for both missing the previous meeting and then for us being tardy today. I take full responsibility. The kids are always on time, but their teacher sometimes struggles. So I got them here as quick as I could, and I appreciate you guys fitting us in. I know you guys have some education experience on your board as well, and so you'll understand when I say how special it is and how much it means when you have students and ex-students who take what you've taught them, the concepts that you taught them, and they go into the real world and they try to actually make a difference. So with that, I'm going to introduce them and let them take it from here because I know they're the ones you really want to hear from. Tonight we have Scarlett McDonald, who come on up, Scarlett. She is the Deputy Chief of the Criminal Justice Program at Newberry High School, so I know that she's been highly involved with your own Explorers program over here. We also have 2 other volunteers, Katie and Morgan, and they're here tonight to talk to you a little bit about Represent Me, a political action committee that they started. Scarlett is the co-founder. Maria De La Cruz is the other co-founder. She had a school commitment tonight, so we've got one of our founders with us. With that, thank you so much.
Alrighty, so like Mr. Marlowe said, we make up Represent Me. Of course, there's more of us. This is just kind of the initial group we've got to come tonight. We started this, I think you, oh yeah, please. That's perfect, thank you. Yeah, so we started this PAC with the idea of wanting more representation as students. You know, for us, getting into politics ourselves was kind of scary. We didn't know how to go about it, but we really wanted to go after something that creates more equality for more people. Maria De La Cruz, my co-founder, is actually Hispanic. So her, especially with her ethnicity, she felt like she wanted a bigger voice for the minorities within Gainesville and the Alachua County, which we can't exactly get with the commission we have right now when it's at large. So we decided on single member districts as our way to kind of contribute. right now we just want to get this on the ballot. It'd be nice to see it passed, but right now just our purpose, I guess you can say, and goal is just to get it on the ballot and see our own initiative kind of take off and see kind of the support of the community helping young kids like ourselves. So single member districts, I don't know if people are watching and are listening, but if they don't know, it is when the representative of that district lives in that district and is voted on by the people living in that district. So say you're representing District 1, people living in District 1 would have to vote for you. Okay. So like I said about us, we are nonpartisan, so we're not Democratic, we're not Republican, and there's actually a mixture of all of us within our own board. I know we have a socialist, a Republican, a Libertarian, and a Democrat. So we're all a mixture, and it's kind of cool to see all these different people come together and want to achieve one goal together. All right. And then we need 18,000 signatures to get on the ballot for November of 2018. Okay. So
when do you need those by?
February 25th.
February for the November ballot.
Yes. Okay. And then why we're doing this, like I said, minority groups are especially important to us. And then growing up in small towns like High Springs, Newberry, you don't get a lot of say when it comes to big politics within Alachua County. Especially as students ourselves, or those, I'm a newly registered voter. I don't really feel like my vote means that much. But it's kind of cool to involve ourselves in politics. And like I said, we just wanted to see a change come, something we can do, young students, and see what our initiative and what if we strive for something to see us actually achieve something. And for us, I know I am planning to go into political science. So this was kind of something for me. I was like, oh, like this is a great Kickstart experience, fun way to do things. So it also gives us that cool experience that most students our age don't even have. Most college students probably don't even have. Okay, and then reaching out. So we've gone to a lot of different festivals. That is us at the Micanopy Festival. I know we went to that one. We went to the local Newberry Fall Festival. Alachua, we went to that one as well. There's some more photos. And then we actually, oh gosh, I think we skipped it. Okay, we also met with Ted Yoho and Keith Perry, who we were lucky enough to get them to sign a petition and support us, which was kind of amazing to see, you know, a U.S. congressman and a Florida senator kind of support us in a way like that's so inspirational to us, and it's just another encouragement of what we're doing and how this helps people. Okay, and this is our information. So we do have a Facebook page. We also have an email address. I don't think that one is attached right now. And we also brought petitions tonight if you guys would like to support us and sign. Again, this is nonpartisan. Our goal is to solely just get it on the ballot for the election. Any questions?
I think we agree with you.
Okay. We've got, actually, it's very, very encouraging because all the commissions we have gone to, I know we've gone to Hawthorne. I think we've gone to Alachua. Have we? Not yet. We went to Newberry on Tuesday of this week, but all of them have been very supportive and actually wanting to help us, and even people in the audience have been like, ooh, can I get one of those? So it's very encouraging, like I said.
So how many signatures do you have so far?
Right now we have them stacked up in the classroom. We have yet to turn them into Kim Barton. So we don't know the exact number because some of the personal information on there is sometimes invalid. But we have boxes and boxes of them that we just need to give to her to go through.
How many signatures you have?
Okay, so we have approximately between 5,000 and 6,000.
And you need 18 total.
Yes. So it's quite a big goal for us, but like I said, it's very, you get to see the bad sides about trying to get something passed in government, but at the same time, it gives us this invaluable experience.
So could we allow them to leave some of the petition forms here in City Hall for people to have access, public access to them? Could we allow them to do that without,
Legally, that's fine.
Okay.
It's a nonpartisan
right, it's not
measure to just get something on the ballot. That's this does. And by the way, Mayor, I think at age 18, I didn't know what a libertarian was. It was impressive.
So one of my first jobs was working in the supervisor of elections when I was in high school, checking signatures for petitions. I was still in high school when I was doing that, and we had to pull these voter cards out and look at signatures and compare them. So I applaud you for your effort and your time in trying to get these signatures. And if they're not registered voters, they don't count.
Yes,
right?
we specify that when we give out the petitions. We're like, oh, are you a registered voter? And most people are like, no. And we're like, come on.
So, and then do you have your Facebook page somewhere where we could see it? Because, by sharing that too, it creates exposure for you that then can start people looking, and maybe Sage, either some at the High Springs City Hall downstairs that you could access if you live in that area, and have a way to come pick them up or mail them back to you or something like that.
Okay, so our Facebook page is actually Represent Me, and then you can find it at Represent Me Alachua.
Okay.
We often, I know, all during the festivals, we were going up and down to different local businesses, and it was actually nice because they wanted to help us. They were taking the petitions, giving us some back that they already had signed. So we can come pick them up, but you can also mail them to us. And then I think on that Facebook page is our mail P.O. box.
It's on here too.
Oh, that's perfect.
You can pick that one up.
Oh, yay.
Scott, you might can remember. I know the conversation came up years ago about trying to do something like this. I don't know if it ever went forward or not. It's been, I know these.
It never has been done. So if they can get this done, it could really change the dynamic potentially of the county commission. You'd have somebody from the eastern part of the county, somebody from the western part of the county, not just dominated by Gainesville. So it has the idea is to disperse the representation equitably throughout the county. Whether you're in favor of it or not, this puts it on the ballot. You could sign the petition and still vote no against it, or vote yes against it. This just gets it on the ballot.
Okay. So now, okay, Mike, you're good. So have y'all done your research? What's the population of High Springs?
Probably more than Newberry. Newberry's tiny. But
she told you she's going political science.
But we actually had looked into the numbers of trying to integrate single-member districts into big cities, because there is a point when a city gets to a certain size, or even a county, that equal representation nearly becomes impossible without single-member districts. And Gainesville is always growing. I know even Newberry right now, we have about 5 new residential neighborhoods opening up. It's crazy. So I think we're reaching that point, and if we don't do something now, then it's just going to hurt us more in the end.
Yeah. The reason I asked that question is because, your largest population is in Gainesville. You need how many?
18,000.
18,000. I don't know the population of the small cities, but I'm quite sure it's small. But I just tell you, you need to work hard.
Yes, absolutely.
You're gonna have to work hard, and try also to reach out to some of the citizens in Gainesville.
Yes. Well, I myself actually live in Gainesville. I just go to school out in Newberry. So my stepdad and my whole entire family were very into our church community. We were very into the community itself with like sports and everything. So that's how we've been able to reach out even more within Gainesville itself, because Gainesville is actually single-member districts itself. Just the county is not. So once we explain that to people and kind of get them to understand what we're trying to do, they actually jump right on board.
Do you know that you can get a voter list for a very nominal fee from Supervisor of Elections of the registered voters in the county? And you can even specify, did they vote in the last election? Did they vote in the, the last elections, so that you could target some of those, because you need registered voters. You don't just need signatures. You need registered voters. And it's literally a very nominal $5 or $10 fee that might help you direct some of your efforts more specifically to certain areas or neighborhoods.
That's very helpful. Thank you. I didn't know that. Any more questions?
Yeah, do you have any more of these?
Oh, we do.
You passed them out to us here. You didn't give any in the audience.
Make sure that, and then leave some with the clerk, please.
Alrighty.
So I applaud Mr. Marlowe in the class. I taught social studies
You did.
at Newberry.
Maria mentioned you. She was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Dean Jameson," and I was like, "I don't know him like that." But she was like, "Tell him I said hi." I was like, "I'll do it."
Easy. So.
Gonna get a big head.
No, I mean, I applaud you because, I mean, that was one of the things was getting kids involved and so forth. So we'll do what we can. We'll post these, and we greatly appreciate you being here.
Well, thank
I
you so
appreciate it, man.
And you guys are going to change the future, and we're really happy that you're here and you're making this when you're 17 or 18 years old and being active and involved, because that's how change happens.
Thank you,
And
guys.
you can always be proud of the fact that you got out there and attempted to do it. Even though it doesn't work, you tried, and that's the main thing.
Two more things to you. First, I applaud y'all for doing this. That's been years ago. Larry, Travis, and I, we used to talk about this all the time. Yeah, never did go anywhere. And the second thing is, young lady, every vote count.
Yes.
Don't ever think that your vote don't mean anything. That is not true. Every vote count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep adding up and adding up. Every vote counts. So don't ever say your vote is not significant, okay?
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out. We appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. I wanted to specify we don't have the numbers. We have about 5,000 to 6,000 in our possession. And then they've got the coalition that these kids have built across the county is phenomenal. There's about 80 other mostly young folks from all the way over to Hawthorne that are working on it. Logistically getting all of those petitions back towards us has been a challenge. But these kids, I mean, every single weekend, Saturday, Sunday, every public event, every 2 commission meetings in 1 week, they have been they've been inspirational in how hard they work. So again, we appreciate you guys coming over, letting us come over and talk to you. And we apologize for our tardiness. It's right in the middle of exams, so I hope you excuse us if we kind of quietly exit also, because I want to get them home so they can study as well. So, yes, sir.
I got a thought for you. Reach out to Rodney Long.
I've been trying to get in touch with him.
Reach out to him.
I'll call you and see if you have some contact information you'd be willing to share with me, because we've sat down with anybody that was willing to sit down and talk with us. Oh, and do you know if you pay that fee, do you get an email address?
Well,
whatever they have on there?
You get anything they have on them, and then you can get it in a format where you can sort it in Excel any way that you want to sort it.
That would be absolutely worth it.
There's a gentleman at the supervisor of elections, and he can send it to you. You don't even you have to go down and pay the fee, and they might waive it for you because you're a school. Well, you would have to ask them. Your political action committee, so they probably have to charge the fee. But then he can present it in any format that you're looking for, in any zip code, cities, they can formulate it any way that you need it. And then you can play with the numbers through the Excel if you've got somebody that knows how to work Excel.
These guys know how to do all that stuff.
And just so you know, I was at the bank today. On my way out of the bank, I ran into a gentleman who's a veterinarian in town, and we were talking, and I don't even know how it came up, but I said, oh, yeah, there's some people coming tonight, a political action committee, about single-member districts. He's like, I'm really interested in that. So maybe banks. I mean, people are going in there, business owners are going in there, citizens are going in there. It's another place to reach out.
They have received the endorsement of some fairly influential groups. Turning that endorsement into helping them collect signatures has been another thing. So at this point, it's going to be that email push of getting people to actually mail them in. I know that there's probably 18,000 around the county already sitting on someone's desk. It's got about 4 or 5 other sheets of paper on top of it now. They're going to find it. I just got to get them to find it before February 25th and mail it in to them. But again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your advice. We appreciate it. Thank you all, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Well, we get back to the agenda. Item number 2, discuss and consider the CRA position.
So basically what we're looking for tonight, Jenna, tell them which way we want to go and how we want to do it and when we want to do it.
Yeah, basically, I had sent two job descriptions you can look at when I send them out. So you have that.
Oh, that's
And also with another sheet like this, about what that's versus salaries. And also just a brief average to go with the League of Cities. That's
What we want to do for this position is, to make it a 30-hour position for the CRA, and then shortly after that, turn it into a 10-hour day as a assistant to the city manager.
Adding 10 hours.
Adding 10 hours. And that will bring it up to 40. They're already getting all the benefits as 30 hours. So adding the 10 hours gives enough leeway, because we have massive amounts of grants that have to be managed, and we also have the business of the city in that. So we're getting to a position and need a little bit of help.
So what is the financial impact of the additional 10 hours? Do you have a ballpark number for me?
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, what you're looking at is if you keep it the same, you would be looking at 4 months worth of deal. You're looking probably at about $5,000 by the time you do. It's $4,600 for the hours, and then if you factored in whatever the benefits onto that, so you're looking at about $5,000
annually.
No, that would just be. This is for 4 months, but then you would get into the next budget. You're probably looking at about $20,000.
Okay.
Is what you would be looking at on an annual basis, because you would tie that in with the CRA.
Okay.
So the CRA would be paying, and then you can see how it goes. We've looked at this several years to try to get a position in to assist with the daily type of things that need to be done. The manager's office is doing major projects and is doing like the macro type of jobs. And so when this job opened up, and I sort of pushed it a little bit, was just to sort of, this would be an opportune time to let's get somebody in here and sort of take a little bit of the pressure off. And so then it came down, well, what do you do on the money? The thought here is that you would advertise and hopefully hire the person by March. I don't want it to be, me personally, I don't want you later than that, because we have several things on the CRA budget that we need to get somebody on board, ready to go. And then my thought at the time is to give that position 3 months, so that person only has to worry about the CRA, so they could get entrenched into it, they would know it. And then you would add in the 10 hours towards the city job after that, and then go forward. Then you would be budgeted in. So that it'd be $27.24 per hour is what the CRA is. And so my thing was just to keep it $27.24. When the community development director comes in, it'd be 10 hours a week at $27.24. Then obviously you could relook at it at the budget time if you want to do something different. But
so you're looking at starting the position as a 30-hour week position for the first 3 months, March 1st to June 1st, and then adding the additional 10 hours from June 1st to September 30th. And then adding that budget hit into the next year's budget. Okay. And the money for the 4 months is going to come out of the city manager budget, which he and I talked about today, that there was enough leeway in there to pick up that extra.
Yeah, you're looking, like I said, you're looking at about $46.31 exactly, and then whatever the benefit cost would go. So when I said 5, I don't, it may be a little bit more. But I think we're getting to a point from a growth-wise, if you look at it with the amount of subdivisions coming in and the growth, I just think someone designated to sort of look at the day-to-day a little bit more, because the city manager is doing the big stuff. And I just think from a city manager's office, we need somebody else to sort of help oversee. And so that's my thoughts. And so, I
agree with you. I spent some time with Mr. Booth today, and I agree with you that we need to have an assistant at this point to give support to the city manager. I would like to see maybe somebody that has a little bit of marketing or PR kind of, background. If they had that would be a real draw. And the technology, I think that in one of these, we had something about the technology, because I know you wanted them to be more the communication and outreach person. And I think, too, that it would create a cohesiveness between the redevelopment and the new things that we're trying to accomplish as we grow as a city. So I do think that that's a very good way for us to implement that in. And then maybe he can take a vacation once in a while and not get phone calls.
I also see that individual marrying up with the Chamber of Commerce because they also represent the same kind of people. I'm sorry.
You mentioned phone calls.
Thank you.
You're on it, man.
Anyway, they represent the same type of people, and they need to be a cohesive group. And so I see that happening.
And so and it's not important, but logistic-wise, are you going to have that person still over in the old school?
Well,
You're going to keep
because
them
there's
there?
not enough room up here. But
Right.
they can, when I'm gone, they can certainly occupy that office.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, I
when
actually
I'm
think
out.
it's good because it's interesting. People have a perception. When they come upstairs, they have a different perception. It's just
Sure.
And maybe that's a more approachable place to reach, and it helps keep people connected maybe at a different level. So to the administration.
I think within this packet that we have is the one that's sort of got like the combo job description, which has like the technical stuff in it.
Right. That's what the one that had the technical.
So it's got those things in it. So.
And, maybe a little background with the grant stuff, because you are going to be tasking them. And even with the CRA, there's going to be places where having a little experience in the grant area.
Absolutely.
Is this a competitive salary at that 40-hour week? Is it competitive?
It's just below, if you took the, Jenny, what was it? Just right about at the mid, just below the mid?
Right, at the minimum 25%. It was 32.
So.
Okay. We want a jack of all trades and a master of none, right?
We already have
Master
one
of all.
of those.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
So now, okay, Mr. Booth, you're
Yes,
saying
sir.
you want somebody to assist you, not assistant city manager.
No, just
Okay,
assist.
because that was, I want to ring in my head.
Not an assistant city
manager.
No, no.
You're talking about a totally different,
Animal,
Okay.
yeah, that's right.
Agreed.
okay. So when we advertise this, do we need to mention some kind of way, let them know there's a possibility? Are we going to do it in the next few months? It's going to become a 40-hour?
Oh,
It is.
Should be part of the announcement.
Yeah, it'll
Okay.
be in
You
there.
look on the first page here, 30 hours and then 10 hours
Oh, okay.
weekly beginning. So they'll know when they interview for it, they would know that they would initially come on for 30 hours a week,
Gotcha, okay.
and then 3 months after the hire date, more or less on the deal. So let's say they got hired February 15th. 3 months after the hire date is when the other 10 hours would kick in. So I just want to make sure, I'm just concerned with the CRA. I just want to make sure with the sidewalk and all this thing, I just want that person to be unencumbered. My thought for the first 3 months is put all their efforts toward the CRA, get it going, and then we can gently bring you in to the other deal.
Well, and the reality is we have nobody in there to train this person, so they're going to be, they're going to hit the ground running and have a lot to learn without a lot of direction, So I think that moving this to a 40-hour week position is definitely going to open it up to a larger pool of candidates. A 30-hour week position isn't necessarily a position that many people could take and support a family. So I do believe that adding the 10 hours is going to give us a larger pool of people to pull from that might get us a candidate that would be, would be able to do all of these things that we are looking for.
And
Go ahead.
two, you're saying that the 6-month period kicked in after 6 months after the hiring date.
3 months.
3 months.
3 months. I'm sorry. after the actual hire date as opposed to the actual start date?
That's to me, it's the same thing. The hire date and the start
Necessarily.
date. So I'll say the start, to me, the hire date, the start date would be the same. So I would say the start date, 3 months from the start date.
Not always the same with me.
Okay.
Because we've hired somebody today, but they got 6 or 7 days before they physically come into work.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then the start date, if that's
Start
what you're
date.
saying, that would be 3 months from the start date. Thank you. Thank you. So we're looking, I mean, what we needed, we would need somebody to, obviously, if this is the course that we want to do, make a motion to basically accept the job description, and then I would assume give direction to go ahead and start the advertising process.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, and I'm sorry, I should have brought this up earlier. I do think, and this is up to you how you want to proceed, but under the minimum requirements, I do think that by limiting it to these 2 degrees, you might miss out on some applicants. The way this is, you could have someone who had a degree in history who then went on and got a master's in public administration, but they wouldn't meet the minimum requirement because they didn't have their 4-year degree in public administration. So I think you might want to leave it as a 4-year college or university bachelor's degree with an emphasis or
You've got the
we would prefer a degree in business or public administration, but that way you haven't not allowed those applicants to come forward who might also have a lot of relevant experience and they do have the 4-year degree. But that is certainly up to your discretion.
No, I think that's a very good suggestion because it is very limiting the way it's worded here. I think a 4 years bachelor degree and then with a focus of experience in, economic and community development or equivalent pretty much covers it. Because obviously as the person is interviewed, then you're going to see whether they really have the kind of experience that you feel this position needs.
So you can make the change in the wording on that?
Yeah.
To where it would be.
So does this position act in a supervisory capacity? It does, doesn't it? It supervises a farmer's market staff person.
It does.
And is there any other?
Doesn't have any employees.
There's a service worker that works. So is that in here as a supervisory position? Okay. And they have to, okay. All right. Yep, okay.
So you need a motion?
So I would need a motion to basically, this is to accept the job description for the CRA community development and then direct the city manager to the one that's in the packet.
Should we revise it though?
Would it be as revised? You would do it as revised. Would you do that first, and then we could just direct you to start the process, correct? So yeah, we would to approve the job description in the packet with the revision regarding education. So that's the motion we're looking for.
Jenny, you got that? I'll make such a motion.
That's what I usually
I'll
say.
second it.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
I've got a first and second. Any comments from the audience at all on this? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Motion's passed. So we'll get this cranked up. Very good. Thank you. I think this is positive. I'm excited about it because I think the city's growing in a way, and I think this is going to serve us well. Item number 3, consider approval of mutual aid agreement with Santa Fe College Police Department.
Mayor, Legals looked at this and approved it. It's a standard agreement that we've had with other jurisdictions. It's very similar in format, and so we would suggest that you go ahead and approve this.
Any comments or questions, Commissioner?
If I'm not mistaken, didn't they help you out with the parade? And that's the one they
this year and previous years, so it'll help with the resources. So it's an excellent opportunity to collaborate with other agencies.
Yes, sir.
You looked at it? Standard?
Yes, sir. Standard.
Good to go then, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do I have any motion or any movement on this?
I will make a motion that we adopt, let me get back here, when I scroll through it, I lose it, the mutual aid agreement between the City of High Springs and the District Board of Trustees of Santa Fe College for the Santa Fe College Police Department.
Second.
I've got a first and a second to approve the mutual aid agreement with Santa Fe College Police Department. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes 4-0. Item number 4, consider a workshop. We're going to change the word workshop to informational meeting. Consider an informational meeting on the Phase A1 sewer project. Mr. Booth?
We're going to have a meeting with the staff, Mid-Tower, and go over the project with those people affected. We'll put out a letter inviting them to come in. It will be on the 18th at 6 p.m. or 1800 hours. And we'll answer what they have. So far, it seems to be a very welcomed project over there. Very few people are against it. Most people want to start paying their impact fees early, and certainly that'll be approved. So we see that the bids will go out mid-January, and we'll start that project probably in February. So it's going to be quick. We'll finish the Camp Calaqua project, and then we'll roll right into this project. That's all.
18th at 6 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
We don't look for the council to be here. It's really the staff, because if there's too much council there has to be a real meeting. Okay. We're not looking to advertise it or have people come in. Okay. We're looking for that neighborhood that is impacted by that project.
Will it be recorded?
No.
I think it's a good thing to the extent with the new grinders going in, and it isn't something like where we have to approve it because we've already approved the deal. This is just an informational, what does it mean, how do I do it? And so it's just answering questions from the people. From Mid-Tower will be there, David will be there, city manager will be there. I may be there. They're going to just to represent, but that way it doesn't become a meeting. And like I said, it has nothing to do at this point with the commission. The process now solely has to be with the implementation of the system, and for people to be able to ask the people who are like feet on the ground type of thing, well, how are you going to do this? And so the staff wants to be able to incorporate that into a meeting. So I think it's very well advised.
Okay.
So,
That's it.
We can just tell you to proceed, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
What did I say?
She said 18th.
The 18th.
Oh, January 18th. I apologize.
January 18th. Okay.
Thank you.
December.
Okay, January 18th at 6 o'clock. Item number 5, discuss and consider declaring city fixed assets as surplus. Mr. Booth?
Yes, these are mostly assets that long since been gone. We're working with the auditors, and they want us to clean it up. These are radios and typewriters and everything else that's in there. They probably went 20 years ago. Stayed on the books. We need to take them off the books, clean it up, and only keep the current things that are there. So that's what we're doing. There's no selling or anything else.
Half the junk probably still in that room over there.
So what?
That's a half of part. Is some of that stuff in that room over there? You got rid of all that?
Yeah.
It's gone. I'm so proud of y'all. Look out. Yeah, look out now. Don't get too close to the police. Might y'all need to clean it over there too now.
Yeah.
Good. Very good.
So to clarify, this is more of just less a procedural type of move. So the auditor, you've declared it, it's procedural. We show them that they're off the books.
Right, and then it's also put on the financial statement.
Right. Okay. Very good. Any motion on that one? Do we need to motion this, Jenny, or do we just?
Yeah.
We do? Okay, so I have a motion on this one at all?
And I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, in your packet, they've done a complete list of all of the surplus, so just make sure that in the motion that it includes all of the surplus items in the attached spreadsheets.
And I just want to, for the public, I want to clarify, this is just a bookkeeping correction, that these assets are already out of our service and not within the city, and it's just cleaning up the bookkeeping records of the fixed assets, just so the general public knows that. I will make a motion.
Okay. Go ahead.
I will make a motion for the city bookkeeping department to declare those items as surplus, the list that was given to us, to remove those assets off of our fixed asset list.
Second. I have a second. Jenny, that's going to be good, or Courtney?
Yep.
That would be good. Okay, I have a first and a second to declare the city's fixed assets as surplus. And a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Passes 4-0. We'll go to item number 6, which was added on. And this is to consider approval, purchase of a replacement vehicle for Public Works Water Department from the Water Contingency Funds. Mr. Booth?
Yes, Public Works and Water Department have a pickup 2005, well over 100,000 miles, did a lot of heavy lifting, and the engine exploded. We to put one in, the cost is over $5,000. It doesn't make any sense to put a new engine in a 2005 vehicle that's pretty much worn out. So we have the money in contingency, wanting to use that to buy another vehicle. And basically, we have only one vehicle per individual. And so when you take one out of service, that individual does not have a vehicle. And so in keeping with providing people with the means to do work, we need to buy one.
So how did you go about, just curious, how did we go about determining what kind of vehicle and why Southeast Car Agency?
They wanted to buy a used one. They went along with the police department that also bought used ones. These are considerably less, $17,000, than a new one.
Oh, yes.
And we're just buying a plain Jane. We're not buying anything with all the containers on the back and that would cost $32,000. So 17 is a plain Jane pickup, medium size, that will do the job.
Is this a half-ton vehicle, equivalent to a half-ton, or is this a small?
half-ton.
Okay, it's a half-ton vehicle.
It's a smaller vehicle that Rodney he drives back and forth to Gainesville for his testing all the time. So he's going to take that vehicle, and then his vehicle, which is bigger, and put stuff, equipment for the utility guys, they're going to take that one.
So I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. We have a car dealer in town who I know right now has many trucks that they've gotten off government lease programs. Did we check with that dealer to see what was available with the local business? Okay.
Yeah.
But I do know that they check all around.
Okay.
Lake City, Gainesville. They did want the smaller truck, not.
Right. No, I know. There's Colorado sitting up there on the lot.
Few that have the smaller truck.
Right. There's Colorado sitting up on the Jim Douglas lot that came back from government, surplus auctions. So I just am a big buy local. We have a car dealer here in our city, and I know Southeast is a good company. I know they have a great reputation.
Sure.
I'd just like to give an opportunity to a local business to have the opportunity to get the sale from us. And I also know Jim Forster goes to auction And if you tell Jim what you were looking for, he'll find it, you know, because he's done it for me. So that would be just my opinion that, you know, we should keep the money in town if we can.
Then I guess what we really just need then is you all to approve money.
Yeah, and just kind of what I've been doing gym all my life, but be kind of careful. The Southeast, you have their vehicles much more lower mileage on their vehicles. I mean, much lower. And then a lot of the fees that a lot of the dealerships charge, Southeast don't charge them. I mean, they're cheap and they have very good vehicles with low mileage.
But we'll check.
Yeah.
So
I just
we're
like
looking for
yeah.
low mileage because rather than buy a new one, we want to buy a used one with low mileage.
No, and these ones that he had up there were that, you know, I know that he got a shipment of them in. So that's the only reason that I'm saying it.
Well, let's do this. I mean, let's word the deal. I mean, the agenda items is approval, purchase of replacement vehicle. It doesn't say from who or anything else. So I think we could have a motion for this here. It can't go over the 18,000, and then we would just ask that obviously the local people be an understanding that you're looking at mileage and the whole the total package. But you know, if we can just sort of put that in as a directive as we do it, just to make sure that we can suffice that, then that would take care of it. So do I have a motion as far as for the approval of the truck?
One more thing, and make sure it's still up on the warranty, please. Make a such move. So move.
Have a motion. Have a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a first and a second to approve the purchase of a replacement vehicle on the deal simply under $18,000. Any comments? First thing, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Once again, we would like that just the locals be surveyed, compare type of deal, just to make sure. And so we appreciate it. Okay. Mr. City Attorney.
Going to go over to Courtney.
Yes, I'm still waiting on the environmental test results on the rails to trails, but I wanted to let you know, if you'll remember, the county was supposed to close on the property on December 15th. They had given the Trust for Public Lands notice that if they couldn't get an extension of time to close, that they were going to pull out of the agreement. And so the parties were able to reach a 3-month extension period. So the county has until March now to investigate these environmental issues further and negotiate some sort of remediation of the property. So we haven't closed yet, but the deal's not done either. So once I have more information on that environmental study, we'll make sure that you get a copy of that.
So our approval, when we approve the money for the deal, that's just sort of in hold and waiting until.
So the agreement that we signed with them said that we were going to start paying $5,000 a month starting January of 2018, but that requirement was contingent on closing of the property.
Right.
So we haven't closed, and so we don't have to pay anything right now.
That's what I'm saying. So everything, okay.
Yeah, so we're on hold, and the finance director is on board and knows that too, and the county knows that that's what the provision says as well. So they're not anticipating a check.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir. That's it for tonight out of you?
That's it. It was a tough night.
I tell you.
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes, sir. I have a number of things. Starting now is I'm starting the initial work on the $1 million CDB grant. This is a water project that will be west of the city hall in that area in there. We will, as you know from the last CDB grant, takes about 1 year. So you have to start at some point, and in February we'll start the clock, and we'll start the surveys of the people in that where it's actually going to be.
This is water lines.
This is water lines.
What area that is? What area again?
It'll be west of City Hall here.
Okay.
In that area, I don't even know if it has a name.
GE Foster Edition is over here. This whole neighborhood, this northwest area, over there by the church, you know.
Okay, over in that from 14, I mean from 9th on down, or before you get to 9th?
No, from here, from City Hall, all the way down.
Okay, great.
Well, we have to get it changed. All right, talk about it. Okay, and so that's going to be a well looked at project. It will also help the water flow, everything west of that area also, because those are old pipes that are through there.
So let me just say, we're talking like the same type of project we're going to go
Exactly
into.
the same.
We're going to put in the
shut-off valves
and everything like this.
New pipes.
Okay.
And yeah, it'll be a good project.
Okay.
And that is one of the things that's causing problems in our water system,
Sure.
is those old lines. So.
The more projects we can do, the better off we'll be. All the projects at the current time are ahead of schedule. And we'll try to keep them that way as they come in and keep doing them. Debris removal. It does not meet the cutoff amount that from FEMA. So we're going to now contract with WCA and go out there and collect it. There's about 60 yards. There's not much. You could barely see it as you drive around, but there is some. And so we'll have them pick it all up, and then we're done with it. Cost less than $1,500. I think they want $150 an hour, and it'll be done. Probably not more than 5 or 10 truckloads. So that'll be off the books, and that's what we want. Okay, in front of you, you have I guess, what do you call it?
A purchase and sale agreement.
Yeah, for the land that's over there by Memorial Park. And it's 4 acres on both sides of the road. And they're wanting $66,000 per acre, which is over the $200,000. So I negotiated it down, but there are some caveats. First of all, the council has to approve it, and the county has to approve the agreement we have that they have yet to approve with our change of projects. And this is all grant money.
This is wild
Spaces money.
So $200,000, that's $50,000 an acre, is a pretty good price for that particular land. The total package is $550,000 for 4 lots. We only want 2, and we're only paying $200,000.
So you're talking, you said it's on both sides, so we're taking the side nearest the ball fields?
Yes, and the other side.
I thought you said it was 4 acres on either side.
No, 4 acres with both sides.
Okay, I misunderstood.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And so we're looking to take that one side and make it parking, and then and then you can use the other side for whatever. If you want to put a building or whatever there, you'll have extra property.
So you're saying both sides of the Edgemoor entrance?
Yes.
The entire parcel, they're going to drop from $550,000 to $200,000?
No, that they are actually 4 parcels.
Okay.
We're only buying 2, one on the right side or western side, one on the eastern side, and then the other 2 parcels will be sold separate. There are 2 acres on each side.
Mm-hmm. But when I looked at that GIS map, because I went on there and looked at it, there were 2 parcels on one side of the road and 2 parcels on the other side of the road.
No, that's not really how it really is. Just one parcel on one side of 1.95 acres, and on the other side there's the same thing. And then further on down, there's the other 2 parcels.
Okay.
4 parcels total.
4 acres total. Minus a few square feet.
Got
it. If you can hand me the agreement, Jenny can pull it up on the map.
Right.
So I think the address is probably on there.
Yes.
Thank you.
But this is contingent of the attorneys looking at it, and I'm just bringing it to you as we so far negotiated price for the land that we're wanting to buy.
So how would you pay this then? Because we've got all the park type stuff. How does this fit in?
This is the grant. And so, and then the county has to approve the grant that we've gone to, the extra uses.
So this is the grant that was on the High Spring thing, which
That
has been
is.
redirected?
This is what
exactly
remember, we started calling it the Park Improvement Project.
Yeah.
Right.
And so this was part of the Parks Improvement or Parks Enhancement projects. And so the county just has a further lag time than we do to get things on the agenda. So they weren't able to get it on their December agenda, even though you guys have already approved that agreement. And so they'll consider it on January 9th. We don't anticipate it being a problem. Their staff has already green-lighted it. So we feel pretty confident that they're going to vote to do that. But we need that final.
Yeah, I think it's the two on the one side of the road. I don't believe it's on the other side of the road from the GIS map that I looked at. Right. Right. So it's only the contingent to Memorial Park to Edgewater Entrance Road is what those two parcels are. What is that? What is the dimensions there, Jenny? I can't read it from here on the frontage and the side. Okay.
So there's two lots, I'm going to say, maybe it's parcels on the east side, but they abut to the ball fields.
Right, and they also abut to the entrance to Edgemoor.
Yes.
So one thing I can foresee happening here, or I can foresee being an issue, is the people in Edgemoor are not going to be terribly excited to have all those trees taken down and a parking lot put there. That's going to be an issue.
Well, there will be a buffer there, and some of those trees will get taken down. They would all be taken down because it's a commercial venture, and so they can remove all the trees. We would leave some of those trees out so you would not be able to look in and that there's a parking lot.
And then where are you going to have an entrance? Because if you go on 441, it gets real complicated.
We would have to go around there
Right.
off that road.
It would have to be off Railroad because the people on Edgemoor aren't going to want it on the entrance to their development either. I'm just telling you what I know is going to happen.
Right now, they seem to be excited because we'd take it over and not have a commercial adventure there. There's some things they're going to have to accept.
Well, I mean, I think the other thing, we talked about this about a year ago, trying to get this. I think if we can get the land, and I would agree, Nancy, on the deal, but the use of it is down the road a little bit. I think the main thing is procuring it, getting it, then you start doing your land use type of deal, what you want to do. If it's going to be that, then obviously you're going to make darn sure, and I agree, if I'm limited, I want to make darn sure there's enough trees to where I ain't looking across. That, I think, is the next stage. We tried to do this a year ago, a year and a half ago. We inquired. I don't know if you guys called or not. Somebody inquired to get the land, and it wasn't. So, I mean, I think it's a valuable piece of property if we can get it, because it's adjacent to the ball fields now.
Right.
And there is no parking in the back, and who knows what you want to do with it. So. But there's a lot of things that got to happen, even for this to come.
Sure, that's right.
What do you say, Larry?
It's a long ways to go.
Yeah, and this is the first step. What do you think about that?
It'd be great, especially with the ballpark. I don't think people too much complain about the ball fields. That attract people.
So what do we need, Courtney or Scott? What do we need at this point?
This is the information.
Oh, okay. So at this point, you're just letting us. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, there's a date, 22nd, but that land hasn't sold.
What?
For 50 years.
So what they've offered you now is that they want you to accept by December 22nd. So with this contract, So if you didn't, it doesn't mean that the deal is dead, but this offer would expire on December 22nd. Now, if you
I'll just tell them
approved
to
it
extend it because we can't live within that range.
Because we really need to put it on the agenda, don't we?
Absolutely, it has to be
I
on the
mean, we
agenda.
can't vote on this tonight without having it.
Well, you can't do anything in commissioners'
Yeah.
comments anyways.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's right. So the date is meaningless. And I'll tell them that too. He's not going to find another buyer anyway.
So those old issues, they ain't gonna sort in the next few months.
Yeah.
Hell no, the next few years.
So what do you foresee is putting this on the January?
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, so the county will have voted to before your next
So we'll know that.
meeting. So
Yeah.
you'll know that you'll have that in hand, that you're going to have that matching grant dollars to purchase the property.
Okay. Okay. So if we would just direct you to let them know that we're in favor of this, but we can't do anything until the January meeting.
Absolutely.
Officially do it.
Sure.
You guys okay with that? I mean, just say let them
Good.
but we can't officially do anything because we
No,
can't
I'm not.
vote on it now.
Yeah.
Right.
Bring it back on the January, put it on the agenda for the January meeting.
Will.
And by then, like you said, we'll know whether or not the matching grant has been approved,
Yes.
Yes.
so the pieces will fall together.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy, you all right with that?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Byron?
That's good. And I think it's a good idea if we can look at purchasing this. You know, while I'm sitting here thinking, good thing Lacho was thinking years ago. We got a beautiful building sitting up on the hill out there now. What's the name of it?
Legacy.
Legacy. Beautiful building. Beautiful building.
All right. You can go ahead and convey those thoughts, Mr. Booth?
Yes, I sure will. I'll tell them to hold off, or they can wait till we get everything done and come back.
Okay.
But the owner hasn't agreed either. So, we still have a lot of negotiations. Cities are now coming forward to High Springs for help in installing the hydrogen peroxide system, Lake Butler, Palatka, and some of the others. It seems like a lot of cities are having that THM problem, and they're looking to us to help. If we go out of the area, I'm going to charge them. But if they're within the area, we certainly will assist them as a good citizen. Yep. And our population this is an estimate by the University of Florida, and that goes to the taxes and that. And that'll be extra money is 6,023. That's all I have.
Growing up.
We're growing up.
Growing up.
We don't want to grow up pain, so we're growing now.
Nancy?
Well, I've had the pleasure over the last few weeks of meeting with several of our staff. I'm trying to inform myself and educate myself. And I just need to say publicly that we have some really fabulous employees who are very dedicated, that probably don't get paid as much as they should for the work that they're performing for us. And I'm not sure that everybody understands that, but as a business owner, when you have employees who are that dedicated, there's no price you can pay on that. I appreciate, Mr. Booth, your time and spending with me and educating me. I appreciate the staff that's met with me, that they've taken the time out of their busy schedules. And I am very impressed from the top down from what I'm seeing within the city. I think we are very fortunate to have the staff that we do here running the city.
It's our job to keep you informed. If you make a bad mistake, it's my fault because I haven't educated you enough.
Thank you. Gloria? Byron?
Let me see, because it's still early. Well, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, since this will be the last meeting before the next meeting. Also, on the 28th. I see we have a meeting, Jenny, huh? No? Good. Because I'm taking the whole week off.
I'll be out of town.
That's why we didn't have it?
Yes.
Yep.
I'll be turning that big 6-0, so I'm taking the whole week off.
Oh.
A friend of mine told me to take the whole month off. 'Cause he took the whole month off. And I said, nah, I better take just a week off. Because we don't turn 60 every day. So I think that's a...
That's an occasion.
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, it is. So, again, we say...
I'm looking forward to it.
You looking forward to it?
That's right.
What'd you say about that, Jenny?
No comment. That's right.
That's all.
You good? I didn't know you got a week off when you turned 60. I missed that.
You missed it?
I did too.
I missed that. So
I'll remember it. I'm close behind you. I'll remember.
Yeah.
Very well said. And I don't think I can go back. No, not much. I want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, obviously, and I want to thank Yvonne for the, and like I said, once again, on the parade type of deal. I've received several complimentary comments on it. And I just want to thank everybody. And we've got a lot of exciting things coming forth. In this commission, I'm very confident in dealing with them. We have some major projects that are going to be for the betterment of this city and improve us for years to come. And it's sort of exciting to be able to be part of the decision making to make these long-term projects. I've always said when we've talked about the sewer and the water, and here we go, and we got the other deal and things, they're not the headliners, they're not the sexy type of things that people talk about, but without them, you don't operate. If you don't have sewer and water and the basics, Chief, we really don't need a police department if we don't have those because we ain't living in our houses. So I want to make sure that the people understand we've got a lot of really good things going on. It's going to be a busy year, but the city is going to be in much better condition structurally, infrastructure-wise, than we've been. And so I want to thank everybody, Jennifer and the staff and Ed. And so with that, I'll be quiet. And motion to adjourn.
So moved.
No, the meeting was adjourned.
Better luck next year.